You bring up a really good point about having employees that are enjoying the work that they do. Like, how important do you think that is to give them that sense that, number one, they have a good job and that they get into work feeling like they're making a difference and that they actually enjoy what they do?
Yeah. Third thing, when I, realized I was going to be an owner was that intention. I've been on the other end of that a lot. And I remember the first time my company offered me equity ownership, Class C shares or something. When I got that first dividend at the end of a hard year, I was elated and I was motivated. I read a stat in stats or stats, but I read a stat like 75 to 80% of people right now in their current job are not happy or not fulfilled.
I'm even surprised it's that low, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. We're all just making amends so that we can have our little quarter of our time to ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's exhausting and it's deflating. So I want to create, and I think that's old way. That's the old way of doing things. And we need to change and we need to reinvent ourselves because looking at everything, our economy, our environment, everything, it's broken. There's no other way to say it. It is broken. And to be a steward of change, I have to think differently.
Yeah.
Unconventional mindset.
Yep.
So with that, employees are everything. I can't do all of it. So I'm literally investing in those people and I'm pretending like they're myself 20 years ago. And I was given that opportunity or that shot or that equity ownership, that piece of that pie. Once everybody has a little piece of that pie, and if we start doing more of that for people, I follow the golden rule, do unto others. Why would I want anything less for my employee that I would want for myself? Once again, I could absorb it all and just take every single profit and be bloated and alone at the top, but that's not going to be sustainable for myself. And that's what the society has brought us to this, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's caused us to be out of balance. So we have to, it's sustainability. My employees are sustained. They're happy. My company's happy. It's just a homeostasis in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's even, I don't know if it's ironic or what have you, but it's like when you're not even focused about making money per se as your ultimate goal, it just happens that you even make more money than you would if you weren't. You know what I mean? Because the environment is so good. People love what they do. People are happy. Then the customers end up being happy because like, oh, I really love going on a driver date because not only do I get a good ride, I have a great chat with them and, I could just be myself and it's just a good time for everyone. And that's like, hey, I'm actually doing good for the environment as well too. It just all comes back together.
The law of attraction and exactly, you get what you put out. So I have to emit and set that precedence as a boss. And I'm really mindful of the law of attraction. And, we're all energy beings and you're emitting and you're attracting. Yep. It's physics.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So if I'm emitting something and creating a culture, like you said, another word for that is creating a culture, and that's top down. It is that exactly. And I want to grow a garden and I want everybody to be sustained off that garden.
Yeah. So that's a really interesting point. So for me, I'm still new in my entrepreneur, in my business. And I'm thinking that hopefully sometime within the next year, I can start bringing on some additional people to help me. Mm-hmm. So keeping that in mind of creating the law of attraction, creating a garden and what have you, what advice would you maybe give me to keep in mind as I'm starting to build a team? Like what things should I think about what I need to do in a culture, or should I just have the mindset of being open to, creating just a nice place for people to kind of grow in, or should I have something specific in mind?
3 words that came to me is trust, know yourself, and there was a third one. Trust in yourself, know yourself, and then implement it. Trust and courage. Courage is the third word. You need courage because you're about to take that big step. You have to really trust that the universe is going to send back what you're emitting. And that for me was a big, you want to be safe. You want your bills to be paid. You want that comfortability.
Yeah.
But that's also breeds complacency. So, just trust and really use your discernment to what you want. Kick those pebbles around on what it looks like. So that's once again when I go to my quiet space or I go find a moment of reflection. I really dial into what I want. For me, I'm a visual person, so I write a lot of these down. Like my wife piece of cardboard. And she's like, what's that? I was like, that's my 3-year business plan. She's like, what do
I
you
love it.
mean? It's not professional, but it doesn't have to be because, we're creators of our own reality, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And once you emit that frequency or that vibration, you're naturally, polarity is going to dictate you're going to receive that back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if you're dialed in. Like if you're confused and if you don't know, if you're lost.
Like you don't really know yourself. Yeah. How do you know what to even put out?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So take some time, define what you want, play with it. It's a piece of Play-Doh. You're pliable. You said the most important part was you're pliable and you're open. What do you tell somebody that knows everything? Nothing, because they already know everything. You're open-minded. I was going into this open-minded, and I'm listening, and then that allows the door or the polarity or serendipity activities. A gentleman, I wouldn't. My partners, I met them just at happenstances at an event.
Yeah.
And just looked at the guy. He looked at me. Do I know you? No. What are you here for? And then that's morphed into that.
Right.
So always being willing to go on a podcast, for a lunch with somebody, literally just being open and pliable.
Yeah. And you never want to know what's going to happen from it.
Exactly. Like our lives are also destined. There's some free will and some destiny, but a match and a balance in between those two things, the universe will, if you're meant to do what you're going to do, it will supplement. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's really amazing point. So I think what I'm hearing for this is, be open. Don't really go in saying, you know what, I'm going to have this culture and that's it, and just try to force people in it. Just kind of let things kind of flow organically, which is really good because it reminds me of one of the first jobs I have at university. I was talking about this before to somebody, and I absolutely hated it. I knew from the minute I sat down on the chair the first day that it wasn't for me. And these guys there was only 4 actual employees, and it was kind of software. And they had a list of manual this thick of all the things you could or could not do. And it came to a point where I sat down at my desk. It was 9:01. And then I could hear the guy just across the room, very, very small, like 10 meters away. And he's typing for like 20 minutes. And then I get this email saying how important it is to be at your desk exactly on time, and how this is the company rules. This is what you're supposed to do, for being literally 1 minute late. And I was like, these guys are just trying to force this type of culture. Not even saying like, hey, well, what happened? Was there anything happened with the family? Whatever. It's just like, no, these are the rules. I don't care about whatever.
Yeah.
We expect this from you to just almost like shut up and just do your job. And yeah, it was just such a bad experience. And I think that was pretty much the exact opposite of what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds like a prison.
Yeah. They're no longer in business. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. And exactly. You're going to get back always what you're putting out. And it's a top-down effect. And I've seen it. I've had pitfalls in it, of course. Like every entrepreneur is going to get kicked in the teeth.
Yeah. So as long as you can get back up, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's life. That's it in many facets. So the perseverance, the hard work, and trust. Like you've said it a couple times, and it's just trusting in what you're doing.
Yeah.
That it'll carry through, in the universe once again will provide.